So in the past couple of weeks, me and my mates have gone to car boots every Sunday morning since they've opened up again, where we look for items we can potentially flip on eBay to sell at a profit. Over on his channel, he's recently just made a new series where he's testing out certain side hustles, and this being one of them. So if you do want to check his channel out, the link will be in the description below, or you can search him up at GLB Finance. Before we get into the video, I'd really appreciate it if you left the like button blue and you also left a sub to the channel. But of recent, the support on the channel has been very good and I am very appreciative of it. Lastly, before we get into the video, I just want to disclaim that you aren't guaranteed to make £100 every week doing this or any money at all. This is literally something that I've done once a week and I just wanted to share my results. But hopefully by the end of this video, you might have more of an understanding of how you could be successful doing this side hustle, and hopefully sharing my personal experience on this, it'll give you an indication of how you can do it yourself. Now let's get into the video. So in this video, I want to go over what items I look for in a car boot, what items I would stay away from in the car boot. I want to show you some tips into listing items on eBay. I want to show you some examples of stuff I've listed on eBay, and why I'd recommend doing it at any age. And because we're a finance channel and I'm completely transparent with anything to do with money, I want to show you how much money I've actually earned doing this and how successful this side hustle has been. So this is your last chance to leave the like button blue and sub to the channel as well. It would really mean a lot to me. So first of all, what items do I look for? Before you buy anything, you got to think in the perspective of the buyer. As when you come to sell it, you got to think, will actually anyone buy it?
Well, duh.
Don't just go around and see something just because you think you might want it. Here you've just got to use your initiative and just think, is there an actual demand for that item? Because obviously there's no point in just getting something completely random that you think might sell when no one actually wants it. So that brings me on to the first item I look for, Lego. Lego is not only one of the most popular toys out there, it is also very common that a lot of people do collect Lego. What I love about Lego is that it holds its value very well, and a lot of the time it resells for a lot more than what it was originally bought for. And because you get all these certain niches that Lego has suddenly made, for example Lego City, or you'd get Lego Minecraft or Lego Star Wars, over time Lego stops producing some of these products, and when they stop being produced, anything original, even if it's not in the box and it's been used, the value holds, or if anything it goes up over time, as obviously because it becomes more rare, collectors are more likely to pay out more for it. At the last car boot I went to, we came across all these little minifigures, and certain minifigures can resell for loads online. The vast majority of the time, people do car boots to get rid of stuff or just declutter their house. Or in other words, people just want to get money for their junk. And most of the time they haven't done their research on what they could actually sell it for online, or they just can't be bothered with the process of it. So when you see people at car boots saying Lego for dirt cheap just because they want to get rid of it, that is your go-to. But specifically what I've bought for Lego, I paid about £15 for all these little minifigures, and as I'm recording this video, currently one of them is sold for £20 alone. I also bought these two boxes of Lego just off the off chance that they might not have all the pieces with them, but I was willing to take that risk, and I spent £15 on just these two boxes. I made them up, and to my luck they had most of the pieces with them. This large one resells for £50 to £60, while the smaller one's selling for about £15. The guy I bought it off also had some individual minifigures with him as well, and I've managed to sell them up for about £5 each as well as. And even without all the pieces to it, I've still managed to make a tidy profit. The next item that I usually look for is Xbox or PlayStation games. Recently I bought these 4 Xbox One games for £15, and the duplicates that I had both resold for £20 each, and the other two have still currently got a bid up of around £5 each. So just here alone I've managed to flip £15 into a minimum of £50. However, the downside of buying games is that you have to use your initiative as whether or not people would actually play it. Both those two Call of Duty games are actually the latest model, and people are buying it for their kids for their birthdays. What I'm basically trying to say is don't buy some really outdated game on an outdated console that isn't going to sell for much. And I'd say before you go to a car boot, just educate yourself just a bit and do a little bit of research on what games might sell for a lot. Which brings me on to the next item I look for, being sealed toys. When buying sealed items, you've literally just got to think of whether or not a kid would play with that toy, or someone might collect it. The sealed item that I'm currently selling is something like this. It's a little Roblox toy. I don't know what it is, but I'm listing it for about £5 and I bought it for £1. Little things like that where you can turn over even the smallest amount of profit and you're not taking much risk of only spending £1 to £2 on it. Majority of things that are sealed do tend to sell just because you can list them as a new item, just because certain people do prefer that comfort of buying something that is new. For example, I've bought these Airfix model kits. I bought 4 of these for £10. I'm listing each one individually for £10. I was also lucky enough to get this Lego Thanos. I got that sealed for £6 and I'm reselling that for £11. You don't have to always look for something that you're always going to think you're going to sell it for over double what you bought it for. But as long as you can make a profit for your item, you can keep doing this over and over and over. So over a time, your profits will build up and it will be worthwhile. It's not always the case, but obviously as you invest more or you spend more at a car boot, you are setting yourself up to get a bigger return. Over the past couple of weeks, I've spent roughly about £100 just going to car boots. We're probably thinking, how much have I got considering I spent £100? Well, because I didn't get around to listing it for a while, my bedroom did turn into a bit of a warehouse. So by the time I'd done a couple car boots, my room was just getting a bit full of stuff. But listing items on eBay isn't that much of a hassle and it doesn't take that long. But if you've got any questions on listing on eBay, just let me know down in the comments or you can DM me at my socials. They'll be in the description below. Now, when you're looking for these certain items, there's one thing I always have in mind. Just from my personal experience, I always prefer to go for things that are smaller and lighter. This is just so it's easy to package and just send it off. I always charge a buyer for postage anyways, but it's just always less hassle when you're selling stuff that are a lot smaller. I know this isn't always the case, but people are also more likely to buy stuff when it is cheaper postage. For example, all my little minifigures I can charge as a second class stamped letter, which costs the buyer less than £1 for postage. In comparison, if you were selling something huge that weighed a lot, you're talking a range of about £5 to £10 just in postage. And I feel as if people are less likely to want to pay that. That's why I just stick to smaller and lighter products. And something else I try and kind of avoid as well is buying stuff that are really peculiar shapes. Buying simple things that you can easily package, for example Blu-rays and Xbox games, I've always found really simple. As soon as you get in peculiar items that you've got to try and fit in a box, and then you've got to pad it up so it doesn't break in the box, it's just more hassle than what you need. Literally just stick to stuff that's really simple, that you think is going to resell for more, and that there is also a certain demand for online. Now, when using eBay, I think it's a really simple platform to sell your stuff. Hence why it's probably one of the most popular platforms to resell anything online. You can literally list and search up an item just by scanning the barcode of your product. One thing I always check before I list up an item on eBay is that I always check the other prices of what it's already sold for. You can literally filter in just the sold and completed items on eBay, so this will give you an indication of how much they've actually sold for and not just what people are listing it up for. When you then click on that product that's already sold, it actually gives you an option to sell one like this. This will then give you the same defaulted title that they've used to sell their product, sometimes maybe a default image, and it'll also give you a basic price that it's also sold at. Now, firstly, I always use my own images. I don't really use the default images on there just because there's loads of products with the same default image and it doesn't really stand out. Using your own image gives them more of an indication of what the product actually is, and so that when a buyer comes along, they actually know what they're getting. To make it look better and more professional, I just use white card, a bit like this, and just put the item on there just so the item stands out from the background. I've done this with nearly all of my products and it's working out quite well. But I also see more established sellers that are selling loads of stuff at once, or they're selling in a certain niche. For example, if they're selling Lego, I've seen a guy that has the Lego symbol in the background and maybe their business email as well. Anything that will make your product more professional and stand out over the other products on eBay, it'll just inevitably get more traction from buyers. When it comes to the pricing on listing your product, it is currently at the time of this recording free to list on eBay. I've noticed that you will get a fee of about 50 pence per whatever the price of your item is if you do a buy now price. This is why majority of the time I always do it for auction, and I've noticed if you set it for auction only, it will tend to be free. But correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. eBay is so good when it comes to comparing the price of other products and what they've already sold for. I always try and set a really low bid just to get the initial attraction of certain people, but I do also allow offers. So far, having offers on is working out alright for me, as people are more likely to offer something just so they can get it in first before the bidding ends. And the 3 most recent things I've sold have all sold just through an offer. When it comes to postage as well, it does recommend you the certain postage price, but I always go second class just because it is a bit cheaper. But make sure you are choosing the right postage for what your item needs. Do not make the mistake of setting your postage too cheap and working out that it's going to be double of what you're actually paying. You can search the details of your product up online and you can search up the product weight. That's majority the main thing, or you can just weigh it on scales at home. But the vast majority of the time, you can just look at what other people have charged for postage on the similar products that you're selling. Just to mention, when it comes to setting an auction up, I always set it for a certain day when people are going to be active on the app. Just because the last hour or so, just before the auction ends, is the most crucial part, because it's when people are willing to jump in ahead of others just to pay an extra price just to get that product. I always find listing items that are going to end after work on some nights or at weekends, just so people are active on the app and you know that they're willing to bid more at that certain time. But overall, I think auctions are really good on eBay, just because you can actually also look at the people that are currently watching it, and that'll give you an indication of how popular your product actually is. And let's say you've got offers coming in, but you've got loads of watches on that product. Majority of the time, you're better off letting that auction roll out, as all those watches, as it comes down to the last hour on the auction, are more likely to put a lot of money into it, rather than the people who are already offering money up front. Well, in some cases. So now for the best part of the video, of how much I've actually made doing this. So far, only listing my items from the other day, I've only sold 3 things totaling to £64. But this also doesn't include a lot of the bids that I've already got on my items, as well as the items that I haven't yet listed. This might get a bit complicated, so stay with me. Things will be a bit clearer in a moment as to how much I've actually made doing this in the past couple of weeks, just by going through my other items that haven't expired, and also the items that I haven't yet listed. So far at car boots over the past 2 weeks, I've spent a total of £100 just from 2 car boots. And already, just after listing the items for a day or so, I've already sold 3, accounting to around £60–70, meaning that I need to get around £30 for my over 40 other items. Now, going through my current listings, I've already got minimum bids on majority of all the Lego figures, and they seem to be among some of the popular listings that I've got on there at the moment. Most of my listings have got a couple watches on them, so I am expecting for them to sell even at the minimum bid. I do also have some Lego that I haven't listed yet, which I spoke about earlier, which I bought for £15, and yet I'm thinking of getting a return of about £60 for it. If I was to go ahead and sell all these products at their minimum bid, I'll be looking at a return of around £200, or a profit of £100. But because I've set a lot of my bids a lot lower than what they're actually going for, I do think I'm going to get a lot more than what the current bids are. So if I was actually going off the going rate of my products on eBay right now, I'd be looking at an average return of £300, or a profit of £200, which in this case would work out to be £100 a week. Which I don't think is that bad, considering all it's taken me is to get up on a Sunday morning, which I don't mind doing because it makes the most of the day, and to spend just a couple minutes just listing the item on eBay and walking down to the post office and sending it off. For the minimal hassle it's worth, I think this side hustle is really good, and it's something anyone can do at any age. But obviously any extra income is very beneficial, where it could be an extra bit of spending money for yourself, or you could reinvest it to spend more at car boots, or you can invest it into certain areas, and for my case it would be my stocks. Anyways guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you like these types of videos, let me know down in the comments. I can always make more types of videos like this, as I do quite enjoy it. Like I said at the start of the video, feel free to check out my mate's channel. He's got his series going where he goes through side hustles like this, and I am featured in some of them, so if you want to check those out, link again will be in the description, or you can search him up at his name at GLB Finance. Let me know if you're tempted in doing this side hustle, or you're currently doing it. If there's anything you feel as if I've missed in this video, let me know down in the comments, as obviously me trying this out is a whole learning experience for myself as well. Anyways guys, I'll see you lot in the next one. In a bit.